Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, as should we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today. You know, it's a weekend, TGIF and all of that. Good stuff, and I don't mean the food chain because, well, I've never been to it. You know, there's a lot of food chains I don't think I've been to, so, you know, that's probably not the most surprising thing in the world. Yeah, it's Friday, you know, Friday, Rebecca Black's song here. Is she still making songs? I don't really know. We're here to relax and have a good time. I need to record some videos in advance because I'm going to be busy tomorrow, maybe on Sunday as well. I don't think so. I think I'll probably be free on Sunday afternoon and evening, but we'll see. Anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow at 6:09 p.m. on Friday, May 19th, 2023. Yeah, I'll be going out to meet with a few friends, well, most of tomorrow. We'll be hopefully having a nice time. You know, an amusing film. Well, I guess it's not that amusing. But it was an interesting thing that we were initially going to do is we were going to go try and do some batting cages, which are not very common things here in the UK. I'd imagine a lot more common in America. You know, if you play baseball, you know, you go to a bit of a batting cage to like practice or whatever. And I must assume we have like cricket cages or something similar. But it's not all that common here in the UK. We are not doing that mainly because it's just quite far, to be honest, and we're just like it's not that big a deal, I think, to do so in the first place. So yeah, instead we'll be, you know, going to London and having a few drinks here and there, going to an arcade, having some nice food, and then hopefully having a bit of a fun karaoke booth. Would it be good? Would it be bad? I don't know. You know, how bad could it be? You know, hanging out with your friends. That's the best that life can give you, I suppose. This is such a weird way of phrasing it. Anyway, what should we talk about today? I don't really know, nothing's immediately coming to mind, you know, so we sort of ruminate a little bit, stew on some things which have been turning over in my mind. Anything really been turning over in my mind? No, not really. I feel like I've just been kind of tired recently, I'm not gonna lie, you know. Probably I haven't been sleeping as well, haven't been going to bed at as reasonable hours as I should, you know, compared to usual, but, you know, just been busy, I suppose. There's always ups and downs of life, and sometimes when you're in the rest period, you should take advantage of rest, and when you're not in the rest period, then you should just, you know, go ham. I don't really know where I was going with this. I don't really think there's much of a moral conclusion there or anything, just sort of like tis what it is, isn't it? Yeah, but what should we talk about today? Because there is stuff I could talk about, but I can't technically talk about just in case like some of my friends might be watching or something. Not because I'm like, oh no, my friends can't know, but you know, just saying, some of my friends' birthdays coming up, and you know, we're trying to leave it as a bit of a surprise. Although, and I think I brought this up many times before. You know, we do things in a small group of us. We like do these like crazy projects. I suppose. Well, it's not that crazy. I'm gonna be honest. They're not like insane or anything, but we do like small projects for each other's birthdays each year. And yeah. I want to talk about this one because this one seems like it's actually going to be genuinely quite a fun one, but I can't talk about it, I suppose, until next week, I suppose, until after it's over. So I'm not going to talk about that in my monologue. I don't know. What should I talk about? Anything going on in the gaming sphere? So I go on r/games. Can you give me a little bit of bait, a little bit of hook to work with? Take Two. Every time I see Take Two, I always think it takes two, but it's not It Takes Two. Take Two make like, I know, not GTA. Is it GTA? Maybe like, no, that's Rockstar. Take Two. What do they make? Oh, they do make GTA. Wait, what did Rockstar make? Rockstar Game Studios. No, they also make GTA. Wait, hold on. They both made a GTA. Wait, what? The company owns two major publishing labels, Rockstar Games and 2K. Okay, that makes more sense. Mortal Kombat 1 official announcement trailer? Pardon me? I feel like Mortal Kombat 1 came out ages ago, I guess. Is this like a reboot, you know, sort of thing, where they like reboot it under the number 1 all over again? Likely mature 17 plus. I don't know. I mean, Mortal Kombat's interesting, you know, it's quite a brutal game, certainly. You know, I wouldn't go look it up necessarily unless you're, you know, 18 plus or whatever, you know, just as a rough guidelines. I mean, I can't really control you, I suppose. I'm not like the law or anything. Just like, as a recommendation, just based on game ratings. Not my game ratings, I suppose, you know, held much weight, especially when I was younger either, to be honest. I mean, I'm sure many people have seen things like outside of age ratings or they're technically meant to, you know. the number of teens who probably saw like mature movies, or preteens who saw like teen movies is probably quite common, isn't it? Myself included. Probably, I feel like I watched Batman at quite a young age. Hold on. Batman Dark Knight rating. I feel like I watched it at like a friend's sleepover. Hold on, I need like age rating. What is it? PG-13. Okay, it's PG-13 actually. Never mind. It's not the Dark Knight, the one where like some guy gets like a pencil shoved into his mouth or something to like make scars, or like his face like slammed onto a pencil. So it's a bit brutal, but like I might be thinking of a different Batman. I don't remember. They all kind of like blur together in my mind, to be perfectly honest. I don't really differentiate them. Yeah, we're not going to talk about movies again. We talked about movie trivia yesterday, to be perfectly honest. Let's talk about, I don't know, age rating? Seems like a bit of a weird thing to talk about. Like, it's even stranger, I suppose, to talk about, because like I don't really play like mature games or like adult games I can think of. Like I'm pretty sure like the highest rating like any on my games go is probably like teen, and that's probably like League of Legends, and that's mainly because like it's like, ooh, fantasy / cartoon violence, and someone smokes like a cigar or something in the game, so it's just like, oh, that needs an immediate like teen or like 16 plus rating. I don't even remember, to be honest. What's even wilder is the fact that, I'm sure the statute of limitations is up on this, but I used to play like games online, and I started playing games from a very young age. I'm going to be honest. I started using the internet and computers from a very young age as well, and they always are like, oh, you tick here if you're over 13 or whatever to make sure you can make an account for things and whatnot. It's incredibly common. There's not many online sites which you can be younger than 13 and like have an account for. Like Club Penguin, I'm sure, is one. I think Neopets probably was. And I'd imagine Animal Jam or whatever that game's called probably is as well. Never played it. But those things tend to be things quite like targeted, I suppose, towards a child and preteen demographic in the first place. I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, anyway, I feel like I played a lot of games anyway, despite the fact I was not old enough, technically, to play them. I mean, it's not exactly something I think the developers can address, although certainly I think the laws to do with like internet safety, quote, and children have changed in recent years. Some of it good, some of it, not so good. You remember that whole like copper instance, like ages ago, which definitely sent the internet into uproar, which I think it still ended up passing eventually. We just had to rename it a few times, and the internet eventually got bored of being like, yo, this is not cool for like specific like internet control usage or whatever. I'm not really here to get into that debate or anything. I'm just here to talk about the fact that I used to play Habbo Hotel when I was like 8 or something. Maybe not 8, that's probably too young, but definitely when I was like 10 or 11 or something, I used to play Habbo Hotel, which is definitely, I'm going to be honest, on the scale of like games for me to play when I was too young for, that's definitely one of the worst ones. And it's not because if you don't know what Habbo Hotel is, it's basically like a social chat room online, and it's not because it's like brutal, it's not because of like explicit themes or anything like that. It's because it's just like an online chat room. I'm going to be perfectly honest. When you're that young, you're not particularly as aware as you could be about certain bad situations, I suppose, and certain bad people who can be online. It's sort of thing, like, I'm not a parent, and it'd be like, oh, what age would you, like, let your child see a teen movie? Like, I'm sure they could probably see a teen movie at, like, 11 or something. I don't think it'll be particularly bad or anything like that, necessarily. Like, they're meant to be, like, not hard and fast rules, because everyone's kind of different, Some kids, I'm sure, like, when they're 9 or 8, they could probably watch a teen movie and they'd be, like, highly unaffected, and some, some adults might not be able to even handle watching a teen movie. I don't know. Everyone's different, but it's just meant to be sort of guidelines in the first place. Reminds me of this really random comic. I think it was by Saturday Morning Breakfast cereal. It was like where age rating should be by like how much stuff you've been through as a child or something. And it's like, and it just like is this comic of like a 6-year-old trying to buy like Grand Theft Auto, and it's like, sorry kid, we can't tell you this. And the kid just goes like, both my parents have died in a horrible car crash. And then he goes, whoa, okay, yeah, you can buy this. Or something like that. It's so goofy. It's like that's such a dumb premise, which you can imagine yourself thinking of and being like, oh, that's obviously not something which is even like remotely enforceable. But it's meant to be a joke, No, wow, whoa, dear darling discovers jokes for the first time on the internet. Crazy revelation. No, Yeah, age rating, I don't really know what I was going with, to be perfectly honest. You know, I understand why they are there. But certainly, like, online chat rooms are definitely one of the ones where it's like, you know, I don't think I'd, like, I don't know if this necessarily makes me a bad or parent or whatever, but I'm just like, I don't think a 10-year-old should be on an online chat room. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Like, chatting with friends, yeah, you can have MSN, you can have Skype, you can add your school friends or whatever on it, but you certainly should not be, but you should probably not be on, like, an online chat room. You should probably not be in these, like, social media spaces. Like, yeah, it's weird to think about, like, how young some people are who use, like, social media in the first place. You know, to be fair, I think I had my Facebook when I was, like, 12 or 11. I think I was still in primary school or whatever, when technically I had to be 13 as well. You know, Facebook ends up deleting my Facebook account because of that. Oh well. That happened with, like, Twitch, didn't it? There was, like, a streamer who, like, made their account when they were, like, 11 or something, and then, like, their account got banned, like, 10 years later because of that, which is, you know, wild. You would have thought that, like, I don't know, like, it feels like there should be a more elegant way to deal with that situation, but alas, I suppose there's not. Why am I running over here? We have fruits in our inventory. But yeah, the thing I explicitly remember is I remember turning 13 and just, like, internally in my head being like, oh yeah, now I can actually click I am over 13 and all of those thingamajigs now. You know, on all the sites where, like, you must be whatever years old to actually register for this. I'd be like, yeah, now I can do it legally. And it was also, I can't remember who I was saying this with, but, like, I had this, like, muscle memory of when I was, like, signing up for these accounts, obviously not putting in my actual year for these things. I'd put in, like, 1994, 1991 or 1990, to try and make these accounts on, like, these, like, random sites, to be perfectly honest, to claim that I was over 13. And then, like, when I turned 13, I was like, oh yeah, I can actually just, like, put in my actual birthday now, instead of, like, pretending I'm, like, 3 years older than I am. Anyway, would I recommend that? No. I would recommend, if you're a parent, to at least have, like, some idea of what your child is probably doing online. Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying you should have, like, a totalitarian control over it, or, like, totalitarian grip. Like, you don't need to, like, look up every single website. You know, relationships are built on trust and all that sort of thing. You can, you know, teach your child, I suppose, teach your child to fish, and they'll have fish for the rest of their life or something. I don't, like, you know how that sort of general metaphor goes. Nor am I, like, actively encouraging. I'm not like, hey kids, go, like, play a load of, like, 18 plus games or whatever. That's obviously not what I'm saying. I'm just sort of saying, like, there's room, I suppose, for nuance in this entire topic or conversation in the first place. And, you know, me saying don't do this, I suppose, would be rather hypocritical. Or, you know, and I'm not sure if it's necessarily hypocritical, more like passing on my own knowledge. You know, like, a lot of games, you know, the age ratings you can play when you're younger, or if you want. No big deal. Not that big a deal, I suppose, but certainly, yeah, like, these online chat rooms. Although now I think about it, I used to also play Transformers when I was quite young as well. But it's so weird to me now, looking back on it, that I used to play Habbo Hotel when I was young, because that was definitely, like, young adults, teens to young adults sort of playing that game, and it's just like, oh hi, I'm a 10-year-old and on here. Like, I don't know if I told this story before, but I remember the story. There was this mini game you could play in Habbo Hotel, where basically you had to dress up in a theme. Someone would be like, dress up as, like, a construction worker, and then you had to, like, change your outfit when you come back, and everyone, like, votes on who's, I think it's called a beauty contest or something. Everyone votes on who's, like, the best dressed as a construction worker, and whoever's, like, the least dressed as a construction worker gets voted out. And I genuinely remember, like, I'm not going to say the word used, I suppose, in this, but you can fill in the gap yourself. But they were like, hey, dress up as a blank. And I was like, what's a blank? And they were just like, you know, they used another synonym. They were like, it's this. And I was like, I don't know what that is either. They were just like, I quote you not. I'm not even sure I should say this, of course. It's probably not, like, kid appropriate. You know, you can fill in your own blanks or whatever it is. Where, you know, they often say that the curiosity of mystery, I suppose, tends to surpass the actual interest of the truth itself. Anyway, basically, it was word I had not, like, come into contact with, you know, 9-year-old self, and if it was, then I guess that's kind of more sad, if anything. I say with nervous laughter, not actually, like, funny laughter. I don't even know where I was going with this, but anyway, yeah. Anyway, I still passed that round, which is the wildest thing. I was certainly saying, it's just the wildest thing. That could have even happened in the first place. But yeah, anyway, I was definitely way too young to be using Habbo Hotel, probably. Get a lot of weird people on that site now I think about it. Is it still open? Is it still like running? I talk about it a lot, but you know, and I feel like it must have closed down. There's a lot of things that also I never really understood. It was not a very well moderated place. Habbo Hotel is what I'd say. You know, a lot of people certainly quite discriminatory, shall I say? In their eyes, a joke, but obviously it's not a particularly funny one. I have just looked at the Habbo Hotel website, and I have seen that one of their tabs is Habbo NFTs, which I have to click on. Like, what on earth are you talking about? NFTs of a bygone era, certainly. Thank the Lord, I suppose. It's just the weirdest thing. Just so strange. Community. It's not a game I'm going to go back to. It's not even really a very fun game. It's sort of just like in the same vein of Transformers, where it's just like, oh, you know what you do? You just you play and chat with people, which is like fine, but you know, it's not that much substance, I suppose. I do like social games, but you know, like I don't know. I guess I go back and forth on it. I guess that is a bit weird because I do like social games in general. You know, games with a social element. It's fun to play with people, isn't it? But not all the time, necessarily. I guess it just sort of feels a bit aimless to a certain degree. And I guess probably the better way to put it is like I have my like group of friends already, who I hang out with, who I talk with on a consistent basis. You know, ain't no room at the inn. I will say the graphics certainly look a lot better in Habbo Hotel. I mean, it looks basically the same, but the customization, like the actual things done for the customization, do look a lot cooler. Look at a lot more detail. Like this is like, I don't know what this is, like a rabbit astronaut suit. That's pretty cool. Teletubbies, I guess, had a cross promotion with Habbo Hotel, which seems a bit weird, but it feels like there's a bit of a disconnect between the age sort of like overlaps. I don't know what's going on. It's just a load of screenshots. Rooms. Fan sites. Weird. Shop. How much does it cost credits? 630 credits. £50. Oh my god. So expensive. I don't know how much that really buys, to be honest, but playing Habbo. It's just kind of wild that it's still like open or anything. You know, like, but people still play it. I wonder if that world. There's one like game you could play in Habbo Hotel, which is a maze, basically. I wonder if that's still like open, if it's still running. It's got like 100 rooms of mazes or something. I can't remember. Maybe I should go back to it just for like a one-off, you know. sounds like a pretty funny idea just to do it. But anyway, age ratings, I guess. Yeah, generally they're fine, probably. I haven't really looked into them more about them. I haven't really talked about them either. But I guess the long and short of it was, you know, I apologise. My Habbo Hotel account definitely created when I was too young for it. Probably some other accounts as well, but you know, you can delete them if you want. You know, companies who run those accounts, because I don't play them anymore. Probably. All the stuff I interact with now, I've been very much, you know, above the terms and conditions age, I suppose, to actually play them. I don't really know where I was going with this. Anyway, I'm going to round this episode off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Adam Cross New Horizons. I've been Dave Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now. Oh, you know what? Habbo Hotel at least has safety tips on here. How to stay safe on the internet. Cool. Anyway, bye-bye for now.